Welcome to Lemoore City Council Chambers located at 429 C Street. This is the December 2nd meeting. Please silence all electronic devices as a courtesy to those in attendance. Thank you. If you can please stand for the invocation given by Ms. Kimberly Nelson from Lifeway Church and remain standing for the flag salute led by Councilmember Lyons.
Father God, we come before you, Lord, and we invite you into this meeting. Lord God, we ask that you would be with our leaders and you would guide them and give them the wisdom that they need, Father God, from you to help make decisions regarding our city. Bless our community, our citizens, our people. In Jesus' name, amen.
Ready, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now we'll go to roll call.
Councilmember Brewster.
Here.
Councilmember Lyons.
Present.
Councilmember Cruz.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Gornick.
Here.
And Mayor Matthews.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda approval, additions and/or deletions. We are going to move closed session to the beginning of the meeting, so I'll open up public comment right now for closed session only. If you have other public comment, we'll have another segment for that after. Is there any public comment on closed session item 1, Government Code Section 54956.9 D2, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation? Seeing no public comment, we'll go ahead and close that and adjourn briefly into closed session, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. We'll go ahead and move on to, we have no ceremonial presentation, so we'll go ahead and move on to study session. We have item 2-1, track 920, phase 2, completion timeline. Crystal, are you doing this? I wasn't going to try to say your last name.
Okay, so last meeting you guys had some questions about 920, so we do have Walter Diamond here from Lemoore to answer any questions or have a discussion about the issues that arose.
Thank you for being here, Mr. Diamond.
You're welcome. It was quite the jaunt down the 41
I bet.
in pitch black dark, but I'm glad to be here.
Your car doesn't have lights?
It there you go. My wife gets me all the time. This goes right over my head. Mayor and council members, thank you for having us here. And Lennar's happy to be working in Lemoore. I'm here to answer any questions that you might have for track 920-2.
So some of the residents, I don't know if you watched the last meeting or not. Would you guys want to
I would say we do a public comment on the
state
study
your
session.
questions? Yep, maybe we'll do that. We'll have the public comment.
Let them come up.
They'll come up so that it's on the record. And then you can maybe address the questions that they have.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much. So we'll go ahead and open public comment on the study session.
I have more of a statement with some questions in it. So good evening, council members. Thank you for hearing us tonight. We're here because our subdivision has reached a point where continued delays are not just frustrating, they're unacceptable and unsafe. After multiple years and at least 5 separate one-year extensions, it's clear that this project is not being treated with the urgency or responsibility it requires. Our neighborhood still only has one entry and exit. It's not a minor oversight, it's a direct ongoing public safety hazard for hundreds of residents. If a fire or medical emergency or blocked roadway occurs, as recently happened with a car accident in that short space, our community has no backup route. That is a risk no modern subdivision would be allowed to accept today, yet we're living with it every day and have been since 2019. The approved plans required a park and usable open space, amenities that were central to why many of us bought our homes here. We were sold the vision of a complete community. Instead, we have an overgrown, unmanaged area fenced off with hazards where our children should have a safe place to play. For years, it was used as an illegal and dangerous dumping ground and has now been thankfully fenced off from there, but it still poses a fire hazard. A future park has become nothing more than a marketing promise that has still not materialized years later. Our project is the oldest unfinished subdivision from this builder in our area. I know there is 935 is coming in, so it is obviously unfinished. But the progress that it has reached is much quicker than ours, obviously. It's hard not to interpret this as neglect of our neighborhood. The repeated extensions raise serious concerns about whether the developer is meeting the conditions of approval or the intent of phase development. Phase 2 is not meant to drag on indefinitely. Critical infrastructure, including emergency access and community amenities, was supposed to be completed on a reasonable timeline. That has not happened. So today we're asking for a clear enforceable timeline for phase 2, accountability and consequences if timelines continue to be ignored, immediate prioritization of emergency access, assurance that the park and open space will be completed without further delay, not pushed off for another year. This is no longer a patience issue, it's a safety issue. Our community has demonstrated patience for years, but patience cannot be the expectation when safety is compromised and approved conditions remain unfulfilled. We need decisive action. So we're asking for your partnership in ensuring that our neighborhood finally becomes a safe, complete community that was promised to every family who invested their future here. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you want me to continue with public comment, or would you like to address some of those? Any other public comment on this item?
Hello, and again, thank you for taking the time to hear us speak. I don't have a planned out presentation or anything for you guys, but as one of the residents of that community, my house backs up right onto the field that's behind us. So I see the fire hazard every day. I have contacted Lennar previously multiple times to have that field cleared. Every 4th of July, I clench my teeth, hoping that nothing happens. Even though there is a fence there, there is openings in the fence where somebody or something has pried it open. We have seen homeless people back there. We have seen wild animals back there. We've seen teenagers smoking that can all cause fires to occur. Also eyesore. If I knew that the rest of the development was not going to be built, I wouldn't have purchased my house there because I would not want an empty field directly behind. And I can say some of the other residents, at least on my side of the street, feel the same way. And we do have a lot of proof from the people within that community that are worried about this situation, and that's why we showed up.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Hi.
Everything they said pretty much, but also with the building of phase 2 that was supposed to happen, was supposed to be a stoplight at Liberty and Hanford on Mona Road, because we had contacted the city about this too. And as a walker, I have to like dangerously cross that street all the time. And then I also watch school, as a retired teacher, I have to watch school age kids try to cross that street. And there's been many accidents there as well. So either a stoplight, 4-way stop, something, but that was supposed to come also, I was told, when they started building the phase 2. So that's a big concern also.
Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, I'll go ahead and bring it back to you, Mr. Diamond.
This way or?
If you could,
Both.
in the microphone would be great, so that if anybody has any questions later on, or anybody that wasn't able to make it, they can hear your response.
Surely. And for the residents that spoke, I certainly can't turn back the time, but I understand your situation. I empathize with you. As a homeowner, I would probably be concerned too as well for what you thought was coming down the road and it didn't happen. I do apologize that, for that. There were some unforeseen circumstances that prevented development, but I don't want to focus on that. I want to talk about what we can do going forward. Okay. And I do apologize again for the delays that you experienced. I will answer any of your questions. I've presented a timeline for construction, should everything go well, to Mr. Benavides. If you have seen that, if not, I can pull it right out of my head. That's not a problem. As far as what we're doing going forward, as a council and as Lennar and as city staff, we all know the delays here. And we started grading on the project in early 2021, and then it was slam shut. Unfortunately, not for our choice. It was delayed for better part of 3 years. And then we started working with the parties involved in the incident and the situation on the subdivision, with the city staff as well. We tried to come to an agreement. That didn't happen. That fell through. And then fortunately, the city staff came back to the table with the other parties involved in 2024. And we're able to get that agreement done. The MOU that the city council has seen, ratified, and voted for, in that agreement between the two parties, which the city is part of. That happened in early January of this year. We then moved forward to get the final map recorded, which happened a couple months later. And then we started embarking on what to do with the project, since it had been 4 years since we started. We had a few contracts that were let back in 2021, only grading and paving. We had to, after 4 years, had to rebid everything. We went through a strong bidding process. And then, as everybody well knows, in 2025, we've all experienced the market slowdown. Now, Lennar doesn't slow down in terms of volume. They continue, but what they do is they have to adjust to the market, rebidding with contractors, negotiating with contractors to try and make it marketable, to adhere to the current market conditions that we're experiencing in 2025. And we've pretty much done that to the point where we've now hit weather. And unfortunately, due to the sensitive nature of the grading of that project and the length of time that it will take to grade it, because of the consistent stop and start that's going to happen when we do grade it, it's going to be not something that you want to do in weather. Absolutely not. So we're proposing to shore up the rest of our contracts, get them in line, start up in the spring, early spring, with the grading operations. You can't build a park and the streets until you get all the development done. All the plans are approved, everything's ready to go. So once we start, you're looking at a year's worth of development to get to a point where you have curb and gutter installed and you can start beginning to build the park and pave the roads. And that's the goal. So if you start in spring of 26, you're looking at spring of 27 being at that completion point to be able to have curb and gutter laid down, start up the park and finish the park within a couple months easily. Now, bear in mind, the park is not easy either. It's an insensitive area as well, and has many changes that's happened with it, which have increased costs, but also it's the time frame to build that park. It won't be like any regular park where you build it quickly. You'll have to take your time doing it. So that's where we're at right now. That's our goal. Okay. Barring any unforeseen happenings. Okay. And if you have any other questions, if you
I have a couple.
want any other information.
The from the presentations that the residents made, there were 2 other issues.
Yes.
Do you have a timeline for those? And I believe those issues have to deal with safety in terms of a second exit.
Okay.
And also the
Stoplight.
the stoplight.
Okay. 920-2 is never conditioned with a stoplight.
Well, I know that, but I'm just asking you.
So that would not be our responsibility to build. That would be the city's responsibility to build. We're not conditioned. We have an approved map. We have an approved subdivision agreement. We have conditions that are laid forth, and it doesn't.
Is there a traffic study done by you?
Yeah, there would have been.
And what did the traffic study
To
review?
get a tentative map, you would have had to. The conditions
Are
are
you
based
aware
on
of the
those
traffic
studies.
study?
I would have to go back and read it because it was done before I came with Lennar in 2020. But I did look through the conditions and there is no provision for a traffic signal.
Even for the subsequent developments along that Lennar developments there? No.
I'll just interject right here. The traffic signal is in the works. It is, I don't remember exactly where it's at, but I do believe that Esteban gave that report in the last council meeting. Do you have any additional information, Crystal? No. So
That's about right. That's how long it takes to build them.
Crystal just said that the traffic signal should be up and running in about a year. Which unfortunately, things take a long time. I apologize for that delay and it is in the works, so it is moving forward.
How about the second exit?
So the second item, in 920-1, where residents live currently, there was an emergency vehicle access provided for that, which would remain in place until 920-2 is built, because there's your secondary access out. So there is no other provision other than to build 920-2 or maintain that EVA road if it's been in neglect in any way, that's fine. And as far as fence areas that have gaps and anything else that's going on because of that, I'm more than happy to work with local police and the city, shore up that fence everywhere, tip top shape. And anything else that we can do, more than happy to help in that arena, because that's our responsibility. We own the property. We're more than happy to do that. That's part of our maintenance. As far as, so that's the other item that we discussed. And then that's also something I wanted to mention, that we're more than happy to do that, go through a thorough look at the fencing, shore it all up, tighten it up.
Let's
Look
go
at the
back to the
EVA
second
roads and
exit.
see what's going on with that.
What's going on with that second exit, though? You were talking
The
about-
what?
You were talking about an EV road?
It's an EVA, emergency vehicle access road.
Okay.
So at the end of one lot on the far, I think it's the north west corner of the subdivision, inside, there's I think it's a 24-foot strip.
Looks
That would
like a
be
half a
rock
lot.
base, and if there's emergency vehicle access needed, they would use that. If that's been, compromised in any way, well, then we're more than happy to establish that and freshen up the rock base, make sure there's
Make
nothing
it a
blocking
temporary
it.
one until you can put a permanent one in?
Pardon?
Would that be a temporary one until you could put a?
That's
permanent
all
one?
emergency vehicle access is. It's a temporary road until the next subdivision going forward is built. It's typical. It happens in subdivisions.
Okay. But do you know what condition it is now?
I do not,
Okay.
but I'm gonna find out.
So the other question I have is, if you were buying a home in that area,
Mhm.
Would you expect that you would have some kind of a timeline or communication with respect to how things would be constructed?
Usually, yes. And we talk with prospective buyers as we get the development closer to being able to start houses, then we would have discussions with prospective
I
buyers.
guess the other
to start
commitment
selling.
I'd like to see Lennar make is to do some communication with the residents there.
Sure.
Either a personal letter
Yeah.
to address in terms of what the
Okay.
conditions are with respect to the timelines,
Mhm.
the emergency vehicle. I mean,
Mhm.
they bought the house from you. They didn't buy it from us.
No, and
Yeah.
that's why I apologize. Again, unforeseen circumstances that are completely out of Lennar's control in the city of Lemoore. Unforeseen, could not plan for that. But further communication would have been helpful for your sake, and I recognize that, absolutely 100%. And I can be the person that will address that.
That's all.
If they had a follow-up to something that you had said, somebody from the audience was.
Yes.
That's not, it's blocked off by the fence, that's got like banners and stuff.
So
And then that end lot, which I assume is gonna eventually be a lot.
it's still empty,
Right,
can't be sold.
right, and it's fenced off with that, there's no way
Right.
safely an emergency vehicle could get.
So what needs to happen with that, and that condition is unacceptable, is you need to run a fence all the way down to cord off the 24 feet, re-rock the road, open the gate down there that's blocking EVA access, clean up the lot, do anything else, shore up the fencing around that as well, while we shore up the fencing around the rest of the property.
all up to that, if there is a crash, like there's happened, very, with that, in the entrance for regular residents. We don't have, and even if there's emergency access, we can't simply just be driving through there and, or have access to our home or to.
That's what it's for. It's 24 feet wide, the width for 2 lanes. And it just needs to be maintained properly, and it hasn't. For that, I'm gonna rectify that, I promise you that. Emergency vehicle access, so they can access it. Mhm.
That's covered in.
Yeah.
I would like to, if it's not gonna be developed on immediately, that at least every like few months or.
Yeah.
Add that to, you know.
Weed abatement.
We should have to call the town done. It should be done here, not.
Usually it's required 2 times a year, but we can do more than that. I think what they've been doing is just, and I understand that. And I'm here to rectify that as well. Okay. I've been doing this for 47 years. I'm 68 years young. When I say I'm gonna do something, I do it. Okay, so I don't mind going on record saying that. Go ahead.
You say unforeseen incidents that, you know, continue to be.
I cannot unfortunately explain that, but it's a confidential agreement. The city and another part of it.
You being
Just that problem.
because you know when people tell us one first people about community. And he needs people of us.
So.
I still remember the words that came to mind. Done with this property, like in a good community face. And we can come to the.
Well, I actually love this for phase 2.
Yeah.
And it fell through on my house, and so I was getting a girl next to me.
That was the goal. We got away late.
Because what you say is unforeseen purposes. And look at it.
I'm not an appraiser. I'm not a real estate agent. I built ground. On a roof, I can't answer that question, but I'm around long enough to tell you that usually your property stands on there. Unless you're next to a sewage waste treatment plant. You know, I mean, there's some things, yeah, that'll cause a problem, but I can't tell you it will, but I would think it will, but that's, yeah. You can always have it for free. But it's a good point, it's a good question you ask. I would guess.
One more thing, you know, like that's not. I just had another thing for this to my house, because somebody, I think the building, the same way for free, they not do that, so I'm telling you. But you were full time manager. But anyway, my point is, each mentioned something that, oh, we are stopping building the new property because there's cycle safe. And
That's perfect.
you know, that's something in mind, if that's true. What we said was. Is it only found in that area when we talk about the redevelopment, like, you know, it's.
So far, what the found where 935 is south north. Found where he lived. Well, it goes uncertain. And that's not to say that when we start grading out there in the spring, you know, it's gonna be a day by day thing. Can't predict that.
Sir, I have a one simple question for you. The emergency exit
So when are we gonna, when would you possibly start revamping that?
No later than Monday.
Say no more.
Now, is that that's gonna be rock, right?
It'll be,
Like we'd be able to get a fire
Yeah,
engine through it without getting stuck?
built for code, it's based on. So it's some crushed.
It's crushed
fines
rock
along
with dirt.
Rock, you don't want.
Yes, you could drive a fire truck on it.
Okay.
It will be the way the code states that it should be.
And when we say emergency vehicle, now is that only supposed to be for truly emergency vehicles, or is that residents that are able to use that to get out of that area?
In case of an emergency, yes.
Okay, so that's what it's for, but what I'm bothered with is that Lennar's completely went silent on this and has not maintained it and has it blocked with a fence. I have a problem with that.
That bothers me too. I'm gonna be asking some people.
Well, there's another track being built down the road and you have superintendents and supervisors that have driven by that to go out there, because I'm sure they go into town to get lunch,
Those are the people I'm gonna be.
and
asking.
nobody has addressed that.
And you know what? I can't pass that one over. I can't.
So
that would have
that's-
to be reckoned.
So then 30 days from now, the emergency access should be addressed, yes?
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
And in addition to that, any fence repairs that's needed, and hopefully in 30 days, some more weed abatement where the weeds are stuck in between the chain link as well.
Are you able to talk about any plans you have for the park? Has there been any plans of the park, like what's gonna be
Plans
out
already-
there?
Plans are approved, yeah.
I know, but it's been so long, I don't even remember what it is.
Well, they changed after the agreement.
Yeah,
So it's a different look. And again, I'm not at liberty to share that, but the city is. They're the one that's, they're the ones on the agreement. They're
I
there.
have a question about that.
Like what it looks like?
Yeah, what's Lennar gonna do to build the park? Like, what are they putting in? Are they?
There's gonna be,
There's playground equipment, there's a corner there.
barbecue area.
There's a paseo coming in, and then there's a large, next to the basin, there's fencing for that, and then the rest of the area is a large open area that is gonna be mounted up 2 feet. It'll have circular walkways, it'll have croppings, it'll have trees and perennials, for ground cover and things like that.
Correct.
And some benches and things like that too.
Is there a way that you can share that approved park plan with the residents so they know?
It's not my right to do that. That involves something that is part of that agreement, and an exhibit of that is in that agreement. And if the city wants to share it, that would be their responsibility because they're on the agreement.
Well, it's a park that you're building
Mhm.
in that development.
Mhm.
And the ideal solution that I'd like to see Lennar take the lead on
Mhm.
is what you just identified in terms of the emergency vehicle.
Yep.
When that could start and when it might be completed.
Mhm.
Certainly given the weather conditions, understand all that.
Yep.
The fence, okay, that's agreement.
Mhm.
And a timeline on when you anticipate beginning the construction of the park.
Okay.
And
I think I gave that
Yeah,
the
you
email
said-
to Esteban, but I'll,
26.
I mean, in the
that.
communication to the residents,
okay, that's not a problem.
we're gonna have our minutes and
Yeah.
for the meeting for anybody to look at, but in terms of something coming from you.
Okay.
Because we appreciate all the work you're doing here in the city.
Sure.
We don't want this to become a more of a public relations problem than it is for you, but a direct communication to
Yeah.
the residents would be
I
good.
can do that.
Okay.
And if I can, be easier if I get your emails. And I can start with group chat with you guys. Will that work for me? I can set a schedule. And answer the questions, that the timeline, how the fence repair, the vehicle, and other things going on. That'd be okay?
Yeah, it's gonna. People in here, but what about the other people that do?
Adam, what's it out of that? Put out of that.
Sorry, we have to have all of our.
Yeah. That flyer, but absolutely, and it'll basically say a schedule and some of the other things that we talked about tonight. Get that out for the next couple of weeks. It's normally I would share anything I have with anybody, but that's not for me to share. That's the city's responsibility if they want to share those plans, not mine.
And we'll get a map of what the park looks like and get that.
That
out.
schematic, that's exhibit that's on the agreement, that works. It's exhibit D or something, I can't remember what it is. That works. It's pretty accurate.
Any other questions or comments from the public? Was everything answered that?
I just worked and you worked so hard to get where we're at. That's why I'm careful.
And I think for me, I'll just speak for me as a council member. It's been a year since all that was resolved. So I was unsure of what the holdup has been over the last year. So thank you for
The
coming
fine
in
map
and sharing all of the, yeah, because I had no idea.
Got it.
So when I'm asked that, it's and
Sure.
as far as I am concerned, it's in Lennar's court. So
Right. Understood.
any other questions or comments from council?
Tell Lennar in future developments, we're looking for a better mix of houses.
You know, I always get something somewhere.
No, that's what we like to
And
give.
I was waiting because I don't want to not get something, you know,
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, if you build that house, cause I have to show houses a lot of times. I'll buy one over there, but you know, we constantly are tinkering with that to adjust to the market and to provide enough variety for everybody, first time buyer, first time move up and anyone else. Absolutely.
Thank you.
We seem to only be getting one type here. I think that's his point.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I get it.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. And again, my apologies. I hope that. I'll send out the flyers. Start prepared for the PA road.
Now we'll go ahead and move on to public comment. Public comment will be in accordance with the attached policy. This time is reserved for members of the audience to address the council on items of interest that are not on the agenda and are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the council. It is recommended that speakers limit their comments to 3 minutes each, and it is requested that no comments be made during this period on items that are on the agenda. The council is prohibited by law from taking any action on matters discussed that are not on the agenda. Prior to addressing the council, any handouts for council will be provided to the city clerk for distribution to the council and appropriate staff. The public will have an opportunity to comment on items on the agenda once the item has been called and the mayor opens the item to the public. Is there any public comment at this time? This is regular public comment. Where's Alex Walker? Mr. Reed, nothing? I think everybody's all talked out. Okay, no public comment. So we'll go ahead and move on to department and city manager report.
Thank you. I have a few just before the chief walks up here. The city is participating in the Santa Rosa Rancheria Christmas Parade on Thursday, the Lemoore Christmas Parade on Saturday, and the Stratford Christmas Parade on Sunday. So we will have city floats in those parades. The rec center is getting ready to start line dancing on Friday evening. So if you're interested in line dancing, you can sign up. The information is on the city's Facebook page. Suites for Seniors is scheduled for Friday, December 12th at 8:30 a.m. at the Civic Auditorium. Breakfast with Santa is December 13th at 8 a.m. at the Rec Center. We have Coffee and Community tomorrow at 8 a.m. in the Rec Center. And we had a new business open on Saturday. Sanctuary Juice and Smoothies had their grand opening. So they are now open and operating at D Street and Fox. They do acai bowls, juice and smoothies, and I think avocado toast. So if you haven't had a chance to check out that new business, we encourage you to do so.
Chief.
Good evening, Mayor and council members.
Our first shopping day for Reason for the Season is this Saturday at the Hanford Walmart at 6 a.m. Please come out, help us shop for all the kids. Takes a lot. The second shopping day will be the 13th, again at the Walmart at 6. And then gift wrapping will be at the PD on the 15th, starting at 9 in the morning until whenever we finish. And then the actual Reason for the Season will be the 19th at 1 at the police department. And then lastly, our Presence on Patrol event will take place on the 22nd at 1 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. No other department presentations? Okay. We'll go ahead and move on to consent calendar. Items considered routine in nature are placed on the consent calendar. They will all be considered and voted upon in one vote as one item unless a council member or member of the public requests individual consideration. We have item 4-1, approval minutes, regular meeting, November 18th, 2025. 4-2, approval subdivision agreement and final map, tract 935, Lennar Homes of California Incorporated. 4-3, approval revised salary schedule effective January 5th, 2026. 4-4, approval adoption of the 2025 Building Standards Code effective January 1st, 2026. 4-5, approval agreement for professional planning services on-call consultant QK Inc. Is there any member of the council that would like to pull any of these items?
Mayor, I request to pull 4-2, 4-4, and 4-5.
Should have asked which ones you didn't want to pull.
4-3 and 4-1.
Any other council member want to pull any of the remaining items? Seeing none, is there anyone from the public that would like to pull any of the remaining items? Seeing none, I'll go ahead and entertain a motion to approve consent calendar items 4-1 and 4-3.
Motion.
Second.
A motion by Councilmember Lyons and a second by Councilmember Brewster. Councilmember Lyons,
Yes.
Councilmember Brewster,
Yes.
Councilmember Cruz,
Yes.
Councilmember Gornick,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well. Passes 5 in favor. 4-2.
Marissa, can you pull up the agenda packet? I just have some questions on the mapping. Scroll a little bit for me. Keep going. Right there, that one. You're gonna have to zoom back in for me. I can't see that now. One more, please. So, yeah, I may need that actually. No, that made it worse.
You got to put them on.
No.
Ruth.
So I have, so that lot is 4,300 feet.
Which one you putting that?
Any 13 through 22.
Yeah.
Yeah. How big are those houses going in there?
– 1,400 square feet.
Three separate plans.
And then like lots 83, 68, 67, 52, they're a couple of 100 square foot more. What are the sizes of those houses?
The whole project is not kind of wild yet, but again, planning's already approved with the architecture and planning. And the individual plans of that project are already. It's rearranged. So there's 3 or 4 plans. It should be part of the PC. It should be, I don't know if they've got it here on this agenda or if they just have a map, but usually you're looking at I can't tell you the top out, but if it's 1,400, there should be at least 2 or 3 more plants of the water.
Yeah, how many two stories? How many two-story homes do you have in this development?
Chris, do we have anything listed? Be in the. Will be in the PC agenda.
You know, the development we were just talking about, you've got a nice mix there of single story and two-story. Yeah, that's what I meant, all single. That's what I meant to say. Yeah.
We have a list, name of the treasures. We have a spread. They're all single story. 14, 18, 20. They're all single.
That's it. It seems like very tiny, tiny lots for houses that are ranging from 300 and low 300s to almost 500. So
It's not the width 35, it's the depth 50 more room for the single story.
Right.
Treasure does really well wherever it is. They're happy kind of use that off.
Yeah.
Very successful. Whether it's Era, those are the lot sizes. The way the economic situation is. 45, 50, and 55. It was set up to 35.
and how much are you paying for those houses? Well, the people that buy them. Can you come to the microphone, sir?
Normally do is we do a marketing study of all the competition in the area. In Madera, in Lemoore and Hanford, we'll usually look at that whole mix. And what we try to do is price our product at first time buyer. If we're not at the bottom of that range of what everybody else is selling, we're either the second lowest. And that's usually where we try to be. We don't attempt to be in the middle. We never want to be on the high. We try to build first time buyer, first time move up product. So whatever the market is yielding in the area for the competition, that's where we'll price the homes at. You can't sell it if you can't, you can't move the product if you can't sell it. So it's market driven at the time. It's not well, let's try to get that. It's what is the market yielding with the competition in the area and the people with their median home, income, average, and whatever else is going.
What, are you familiar with the development that's being graded right now, east of the high school?
No.
It's about 300 homes going in there. And of the 300 homes, I think 275 are two-story homes and small lots. And when you talk about market study, when's the last time you guys have done a market study trying to configure all of that? Because what I think we're getting into in Lemoore is we're getting into a box where we're doing a lot of entry-level homes. But as incomes improve for some individuals and they want to move up, there's not much here.
Right.
And so they go somewhere else. And so in a way, that's why our population's been relatively static.
Right.
Because we don't have a place for them to move up to, or nobody's providing that.
It won't be all first time buyer. It will be move up to as well.
Yeah.
And it'll be priced that way. And the last time we did a study was when we started Track 935 for approvals with our corporate office, probably no more than 4 or 5 months ago. And
the other thing I had, I was glad you pulled the other two items, because on the Do those changes in the code have any impact on these developments that we're looking at now?
No, not on these developments.
But they
Because they're
are
already approved technically, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So my other question is why is this an action item? Then what are we finally approving?
Just the final map.
But not saying this was gonna happen, but if it's not approved, what happens? I mean, everything's been approved, right? Part of it's. So why are we voting? Maybe I'm missing something here. I don't know.
Things that,
Is this another wonderful state of California thing that we have to approve things that are approved that are approved?
There's a cause and action. I can tell you just the nuts and bolts of it. You can't start houses without addresses and maps. I mean, you can't close them. So if the map isn't approved, the project will stop. It will be at a standstill and we won't be able to move forward. The sewer line that's running down Glendale won't be able to be completed, which feeds the sewer lift station that the city's building to increase capacity in that area on their own. You can't move forward without being able to do the houses without a map. So it's the culmination of everything that's led up to this point. It's the final map to be able to map the individual 152 lots, to be able to sell them and build houses and close them.
So this map is for 162.
152.
152,
Yes, sir.
all in one phase.
That's correct.
And upon approval, when do you think you'll start this?
Well, we've been working on the development for close to 10 months. We're actually, barring the last rain that we got, we would have been paved. So the project should be paved within the next 30 days. And we're hoping to start houses now, as soon as possible.
There's forms out already. I live across the street. That's why I was confused. I'm like, well, I mean, they're building already. What are we approving here?
We're approving the approval.
But it's starting houses, starting houses at risk though. You can't close them without it.
Okay.
Which creates the individual lots to be able to close them.
Don't you realize we're in California? We have to approve.
I just wanted to point it out a little bit. I'm done.
Planning
Good-
commission really
good luck.
is, city council and planning commission work in tandem on these things, and this falls more on planning commission.
So planning commission gets to come up with everything?
Well, they don't really have to approve.
They don't come up with everything. They make approvals based on the guidelines that the council sets.
So.
So if you're not happy with these plans, you can change the guidelines and that will dictate how planning commission approves items.
And that's what we've hired the consultant for, to work with us on in terms of our housing plans, right?
Not entirely, no.
I hope entirely.
Christie, you have something to add?
So I just wanted to share with you that there's two different things. There's there is state law, federal law, all that, but there's something called the MAP Act. I'm not here to explain the MAP Act to you, but there's a process called the MAP Act. And so we follow that when we're doing maps. Site plan and a map are two totally different things. As far as the map goes, there's a tentative map. So the developer brings a site plan to us. We go through the whole, all the things that are in the ordinance, and this is what you need, and the setbacks and all that sort of thing. And then they submit a tentative map. And so then we compare the map and the site plan to make sure that map can actually withstand that site plan that they have. So then it goes to planning commission. There's a public hearing. Planning commission looks at the ordinances. We provide them with MAP Act information, everything that they need, and they ask questions. They don't just sit there. They ask a lot of questions just like you do. In these situations, there's a lot of compromise on both sides. It's when you're negotiating a deal, you're negotiating a deal. So we come up with a plan that fits both sides the best that we can. And in this particular project, there was a PUD, which came to city council. City council approved the PUD, which now has become part of the ordinance that gives them the lot sizes that they have, that gives them their setbacks, special setbacks and those sort of things. They do have 3 house plans. They did change their house plans throughout all of this, and they downsized their house plans. To my knowledge, there aren't any 2 stories left. There are just 3 home plans, and the setback or the sizes, let me see, I had it here just a minute ago. Let me see if I can find it. Are 1,341 square feet, 1,564 square feet, and 1,755 square feet. And as far as I know, I think looking at the map, they do have very few, but a couple 10,000 square foot lots. I think I saw on there a couple 8,000. There are quite a few, 440, 320, but it is a process. So they submit a tentative map that goes through the planning commission, and they have to, if they don't want it, if they're not going to approve it, we have the option not to approve a PUD. But if they don't, if that map meets all the requirements, the actual map meets all the requirements, it meets the requirements of our city ordinance and all the state laws, then unless you have a finding as a planning commissioner, you have to come back with a finding in order to not approve that map. So we approved an annexation, we approved the zoning, and we approved the site plan, and we approved a PUD for this. The final map is just to record the thing. So what happens after the tentative map is they come back with all the engineering details and all the public works stuff, and all that has to be worked out. And so then staff brings to you what works for all the infrastructure. This map will work, and then that's what we're here for.
Question, you raised a good point.
Oh, I was hoping not to.
No. So on a finding, that's what I'm interested in. So we participated in the Kings County housing pattern affordability index. Okay. We're significantly higher in the lower end of homes, both homes and apartments. Okay.
You mean of needed, or we have too many?
Price.
Because
probably both.
Okay.
No, just my opinion. I'm observation. Can't. Would that be considered a finding? In other words, if somebody brought something in and they were entry-level homes, can we say we got enough?
And these are market value homes. I don't know that I would necessarily, I'm not the expert on this, so I'm not going to argue with Walter, but I wouldn't necessarily say that these are, I have bought
All I
homes
know
recently,
is
so
just asking, would that be a finding? In other words, if we could
for
identify,
the map,
well, I don't know.
I mean,
don't know
if,
there's for the map
so
for the-
leaving, like putting aside the PUD, which is a request to lower, to make the lot sizes smaller. If the map meets all the requirements that we've put out, our city planner looks at the general plan, we look at all sorts of things. So if it meets all of those requirements of what we are asking, what we are putting out there to the state saying, this is what we expect to do in our general plan. These are the things that we are going to do. If it meets all those standards and we don't approve it, then we have a problem, because why make those standards if we're not going to let somebody come in and build that? So I don't know if I'm not understanding.
Oh, no, I think you are. Well, I'm just, I think we're arguing both sides of the issue. All I'm saying is that we could be providing housing, okay, of one class of housing, okay, while neglecting another class of housing. My point is the transition, so somebody, after you have your third child, you need some more space and you need a bigger yard. Okay. So we don't have that transition as much as I'd like to see us have. Okay.
And Frank, I absolutely, so I'm with you on that.
Well, see, that's a finding.
I get it. Well, but no, that's not I would refer to the city attorney. I don't think that would be.
Why not though? But if we could prove it by way of the county.
Because that's where, like, we're getting ready to do general plan, then that's where you need to put those policies, you need to put those things in your ordinance and all that.
I'm with you on that.
So but the thing is, when been here for a very long time, and I don't know when the last time I've had a developer come in and say, I want to build all these huge lots. Coker Ellsworth has some lots over there sitting on Cedar.
And it's unrealistic for us to
You know,
say
so
to build 50 of them. All I'm saying is that in a development, and in fact, the last map that we approved
Mhm.
for on 19th, all the way out there in on Hanford on Moulin Road and 19th, that who's the Fresno developer that was going to do that?
Assemi,
What was it?
Assemi.
Assemi?
oh, on
Lisa.
Moran.
They had about a half a dozen, they had about a dozen lots that were 10,000 and plus for large, they had a grading, if you will, of homes in terms of beginners, medium.
And then they
large.
filed bankruptcy.
Yeah. But that's the.
No, and we don't, but the thing is, we don't turn anyone away. So we're presenting to you, a developer wants to come into the city and build something. And so we're presenting you something.
See, I think
Now,
we
we
should-
could have said, we don't want to allow the PUD.
Well,
You know, that could
that's
be
up for us
something
to
that you
look
want to look at in the future. So,
Okay,
I get it. I
good.
I could not live in
Yeah.
that situation. Neighbors are way too close right now, and I have a very large lot. So, I agree, but I'm just trying to we're trying to bring development. And so I would ask that Lennar has gone
We
through
need to give you.
the process.
So with that, I'm gonna bring the focus back to track 935.
Yeah. So,
Oh, yeah, sure.
We can discuss what you're discussing further in our, what's it called? Reports and requests. But let's bring it back to the
Thank you for that discussion. That was good.
consent calendar item.
You have to open it to the public, don't you?
Well, I was just making sure y'all were
I'm
done.
done.
Everybody good? Okay, now we'll open this to public comment for this item, tracked 935. Any public comment on this item? Seeing none, I'll go ahead and bring it back to council and entertain a motion for 4-2.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Gornick and a second by Councilmember Lyons. Councilmember Gornick,
Aye.
Councilmember Lyons,
Yes.
Councilmember Brewster,
Yes.
almost forgot your name, sorry.
Yeah, I know.
Councilmember Cruz,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well, passes 5 in favor. That was a lot to get to a 5-0, I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Um,
but it's a healthy 5-0.
okay. I haven't had dinner, so I apologize. I don't have the same patience as everyone else up here, apparently. 4-4, approval adoption of the 2025 Building Standards Code effective January 1st, 2026. What was your question, sir?
What's changing, if anything?
Are you seriously asking for her to list all of the changes?
Well, what are we changing? You want me to vote yes?
Did you get your agenda a week ago?
The state doesn't give us an option. This is a requirement of the state that every 3 years we adopt the updated building standards. Ray is on the line if you would like him to do an overview of the changes.
It's an approval of the approval. This is what I'm
It is.
talking about.
Well, this is the state codes. This isn't our city.
Yeah,
but Standard.
they dictate to where, never mind.
Yes,
get on it.
that is accurate.
Yeah, but it brings up to the point about us. Since we're hiring, this next item is these professional planning services. That's an issue we should be focusing on. What we're talking about in terms of, you know, our authority to not always approve the approval of the state.
Silos, Frank.
Do you want Ray to go through the changes?
I'm fine.
Are you sure?
Yes.
It's an approval to implement what the state is asking or is forcing the
Yes.
cities to implement, but
Thank
it
you.
has to be on paper
Forcing.
that it is actually implemented. That makes sense.
Would you like me to speak? This is Ray. I don't know if you can hear me.
Ray, you're good, buddy. I'll save you the time. Don't worry.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you for being online.
No problem.
Is there any public comment on this lovely item of 4-4? Because you know how we all feel about it. You guys would like to chime in? Seeing none,
Vote for the approval.
I have a motion by Councilmember Gornick,
Second.
second by Councilmember Lyons. Councilmember Gornick,
Aye.
Councilmember Lyons,
Aye.
Councilmember Brewster,
No.
Councilmember Cruz.
Yes.
I vote yes as well. Passes 4 in favor, 1 no. 4-5, what is your question?
So what's the definition of on-call? Aren't they our consultant?
They are. This would just allow them to work on special projects outside the contract.
Outside the contract, isn't that?
So they have a full-time contract that specifies very specific duties, and this would allow if there was like a grant that we needed assistance with or something special outside of the agreement, the scope of their current agreement, we'd be able to work with them on it.
And we have to pay extra for that?
Yes.
Well, so we hire them full-time. And then we have to hire them on call. Like, I'm having a hard time with this.
At least you're getting it.
So this was my doing. So we did an RFQ for our planning consultant for the day-to-day things like our map site plans and all that sort of thing. And then we have an on-call consultant so that if we get grant money or there's special project or if there's something out of the ordinary and maybe they don't have time to do that sort of thing or once. So we did the on-call already. But I wasn't part of that. And so I asked if we could please have QK also. Previously they had both contracts with us. So the purpose of it is that if we want to apply for money, we can say we already did the procurement process and it just gives us a little more leverage, not having to do an RFP and spend the money doing all those sort of things. We already have two that we can say, both of these, we can say, give us a work order, give us a quote and choose one. So.
And we're not
Got it.
paying extra, I want to clarify, for having them on call.
Yeah.
We're just paying extra when they bill us, but their billable hours will be different under our regular contract versus an on-call contract.
It's just purely like say even a public works, something comes up
Okay,
and they're available. So.
I got you.
I'm gonna ask a question. Come on up here. So I'm looking at the Starbucks on Acacia. Okay. And they're doing the curb and gutter there on Acacia around to Bush. Okay. And they're getting ready to, I'm assuming on Bush, they're going to be doing the curb and gutter there as well. And then there's going to be and then there's going to be a gap. There's no curb and gutter in front of the blood bank.
DaVita?
DaVita dialysis.
Yeah, DaVita. Right? So is DaVita going to be required to put in curb and gutter?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
It was contingent upon something else being built in that corner. And now something else is being built in the corner, so they'll have to build that out.
Oh, wait a minute. What do you mean? Continue.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, back to the on-call services.
Well, my point was, I'm glad to know that's there. My point has always been, one of the reasons why we look like we're an unincorporated city is we have all these little separate little things that don't match. And I want to make sure that if we need to get on call working on that, to make sure that we bring, because we're having the same issue on Iona with the record yard and the curb and gutter on the other side of the street. So that's my frustration with our planning process and getting that stuff done.
If we want on-call to get working on it, we probably need to approve the.
Well, city manager. Yeah. Oh, I have no problem with it. I'll make the motion if you want.
Please do.
Okay.
Oh, wait, first, is there any public comment on this item that is actually on the item? Seeing none, I'll entertain your motion and looking for a second. Got a motion by Councilmember Gornick.
All right.
Second by Councilmember Brewster. Councilmember Gornick. Now is when you say aye.
Aye.
Councilmember Brewster.
Yes.
Councilmember Lyons.
Aye.
Councilmember Cruz.
Yes.
I vote yes as well. Passes 5 in favor. And I promise you all, not every council meeting is like this. I apologize, or you're welcome, depending on how you take it. We have no public hearings, no new business. So we'll go ahead and move on to the wonderful city council reports and requests. Councilmember Brewster.
Thank you, Mayor. Last week attended Sheriff Putnam swearing in. He's officially our sheriff, and Sheriff Robinson is officially retired. Also attended the groundbreaking ceremony for the fire department's little training facility. They're behind the corporation yard. Senator Melissa Hurtado was there. I got to have a little conversation with her, thanked her for everything. It was a cold event. But besides, I went to the sanctuary's ribbon cutting. Little League's got registration open right now, and I'd like to get consensus from council to let's do some study sessions on the guidelines and the ordinances for building of these homes. Because some of these step up lots and step up homes and all this stuff, I am that age group that you're talking about, from first time home buyer to step up. I cannot find a house that I want. There's nothing. So I have a age group that I know that's still here, and I'm losing half of my friends to Hanford.
Well, that's unacceptable.
They build the houses.
Yes.
You go to the north side of town, you can park a toy hauler on the side of the house. You can't do that here with the houses that are being built. They move
I agree, and I tried to argue that. I'm sorry, we're getting into discussion. You have my consensus. Sorry, yeah. Gaveling me.
With that,
you got 3
my time.
at least. So. Is that it?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Lyons.
Mrs. Law, thank you for your words, your well thought out and put out presentation. And the other people, I'm sorry, but I didn't get your guys' names, but I still want to thank you guys for coming out and speaking your mind and stepping up. Lemoore, I'd like to thank Lemoore for being here and providing some answers and a path. That was very important, and I really appreciate it. I really do. Chief, I want to thank you and all your boys. You guys do great.
And girls.
And girls, yes. And can we rename Siri to Christy Bailey by chance?
Yes.
Christy, you are very valuable to the city. I hope you know this. I really do.
You taught me a lot right there.
Yes. And Marissa and the rest of the staff, you guys constantly do good. And I know you guys move at the speed of government, but that's the only choice you have.
Because they have to.
Because you must. So thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Cruz.
Mayor, as Councilmember Stewart mentioned, I do appreciate the community engagement. It's because of these discussions that we are able to make better decisions. When you engage in the discussions and hopefully come to a cohesive point wherein we can get to a better decision and move forward. It's kind of repetitive, but yeah. And likewise, I want to thank Lemoore for providing that communication and the plan. We are truly thankful for those responses and likewise your empathy on what they're going through. Lastly, I want to congratulate the owners of Sanctuary as well, and thank you for choosing Lemoore.
Councilmember Gornick.
I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. You know, the best thing I enjoyed about the day after Thanksgiving was our refuse guys.
Your what?
They came in.
Oh yeah, they were working.
They came in our neighborhood like they were stealth bombers. I mean, I was able to sleep an extra hour and a half. And that's right. I mean, they did a great job. I mean, they were in and out of the neighborhood and didn't hear them at all. They did a great job. I also want to thank the residents to come forward and share with you your thoughts, and we're gonna do as best we can. And Lennar, thank you for stepping up. Appreciate if you would also share that communication with the council when you send it to them. We'd sure appreciate it as well. And then Christy, yeah, thank you. That's an issue we need to work on, and so we're going to rely on you a lot, and our on-call guys too, whatever they call them.
And when Frank Warner thanks you, you've made it.
You can see the excitement in her face. Is that it?
Can I get him a timeout?
Please do.
Go to your room. No, that's all.
Okay. Not a lot going on for the committees that I sit on during this time of year. There's usually not a lot going on, but the CART does have their ribbon cutting for the new transit center. That's going to be December 13th in Hanford. There are over 200 people attending. So that looks like it's going to be a pretty big event. I attended the BIA luncheon a couple of weeks ago that the city manager for Lemoore, our very own, and the city manager for Hanford did a presentation on the new developments and new things coming to the area. I would say that Lemoore city manager did a better job than Hanford city manager, of course. It was held in Lemoore at a local restaurant. So, I also attended the Sanctuary Juice and Smoothies grand opening. If you haven't checked out that building, I don't know if that's correct grammar or not. Check it out. The upstairs looks like it's pretty small, but once you get up there, it's actually quite large. They have heaters up there so you can enjoy it throughout the winter. There's heaters outside in the front too as well. So definitely check out that new business. Twisted Indian Street Food had new management. So there was a ribbon cutting that the chamber did also this last weekend. So I attended that as well. And then the Jingle and Mingle tree raising event, whole thing downtown was amazing this year. It is every year. But something I didn't know until afterwards was that this was the 100th tree that the fire department has provided for the city. So that was pretty significant milestone. So it definitely needed to be shared here. And it's unfortunate that we found it out after the event because we probably could have made a bigger deal. And maybe that's why they didn't tell us, because they like to just be chill. So thank you guys for that longstanding tradition to the fire department and having this beautiful tree that we all get to enjoy in the middle of the street downtown. I appreciate it. I'm sure not everybody does, because
that's how roundabouts were invented.
I was going to say it's kind of like a roundabout and not everybody likes to navigate those. So it is what it is. But the event was amazing. The addition of the snow machine was a big hit. So be on the lookout for that to appear whenever, whoever knows, maybe a random Tuesday, just kidding. It was a great event. So thank you to the community for showing up, because it wouldn't be a great event if you weren't there. And everyone that was involved, Parks and Rec, the Lemoore Volunteer Fire Department, everyone that played a part. Thank you for that. It's a joy for our town. I just had to throw out another word so that Stuart would be like, what else? We already talked about the Lemoore Volunteer Training Center, but that is huge for our community, and it is the last bit of money that Senator Hurtado got for our city a few years ago. We're not at 7-Eleven over in that yard.
East of it.
Yeah.
Oh, that and that, yeah.
That end.
Mhm.
It's owned by the city.
So that's where that will be located, but it's huge for our fire department, for not only for your safety, but then also improving the safety of our residents. So it's pretty big for all of us. So let's see. I think everything else was talked about. So the only thing that I have to get consensus on that I've been talking about for years is we are in desperate need of a city seal. And I know we've talked about it. Yeah, not that kind. We're like one of the only cities that does not have that's going to put me to sleep. We're one of the only cities that does not have a city seal. So when our logo is put onto something, it just makes you sink a little bit when it just looks so sad. So if I could get consensus to maybe move forward towards getting us a city seal, that would be great.
Is that the same as a logo?
Like a new logo, or do you want an actual seal?
You know, I would take both, honestly, because nobody can explain to me what the logo means. So I would love to just do a whole
Yeah, I don't know.
change-a-roo of both of
You,
those.
you know what it is. What is it? And it's like the mountains looking to the, or the hills to the west, right? Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Like looking out towards the west when you see the foothills and the sun setting on them.
No disrespect. Someone came up with that.
Yeah, someone did, and it's time to change it,
Okay.
Yes,
in my opinion.
yes.
I have 3.
Yeah.
4.
Or at least a pen that we can do to do.
Well, my concern is
That would be great, actually. I know that that has been some of the conversation, is to get the public involved. We'll have to see what that looks like, but this is just to start that conversation. So we have
Consensus.
consensus and we'll move forward with that. So on that note, we'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting, and thank you all.
You had one other thing that you were going to challenge everybody to wear an ugly Christmas sweater.
Oh, that's right. As per tradition, the next council meeting, I would appreciate it if everyone could wear their Christmas sweaters, ugly, not so ugly, whatever, festive. So I did want to mention that. You guys have always come through. I encourage the public as well, staff as well. Last year, the year before last year, yeah. So just throwing that out there.
And then Christy would like
I
to say
got it from
something
your
before you end the meeting if you can.
So we have, these, young people are here from Fresno State, right? They're from to watch a city council meeting. So I don't know if anybody wanted to, if you maybe wanted to.
Why didn't you tell us?
I'm so, because the gentleman sitting next to me. We would have been on our best behavior.
I just wanted you to know.
I'm glad you
Oh,
got
there's
to
a
experience
professor.
that
Come on
with
up
me.
Get us out of hot water.
Wow.
I'm glad you got to experience that.
Case study, just thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. They're all students who transferred from West Hills
All
Community
right.
College
Perfect.
to Fresno State. And Fresno State said, you know what? We need to do a better job of taking our courses that are offered in person out to where the students are. And so I'm one of the faculty who volunteered to drive out to Lemoore
In the
on
dark.
Tuesday nights in the dark and fog with lights.
Thank you.
And
That's good. That's important.
and my colleague, he comes on Thursday nights to teach classes at the Kalinga campus. And these students are part of a cohort that will go through 4 semesters and graduate in May of 2027 with their degrees, either in sociology or criminology. Those were the 2 programs that volunteered to come out to the West Hills Community College District. And we're teaching in both those courses. A lot of it is about community and how residents can engage in the community, and being present at city council meetings is part of that. So
Good.
we're going
What's
to
your
debrief.
name, Professor?
I'm Professor Matthew Gendian. Yeah, Gendian.
Hey, Professor, I have a question.
Yeah.
So how did we do?
We're gonna debrief some of that. We're headed back to Lemoore College right now.
Can you send us that report?
Actually,
Yes.
there are some things that are directly we've been talking about in our classes. One of them was about housing development. And a lot of the issues you talked about, like what are the demands for housing? And is the housing that's being built meeting the demands of the population that's there? Both in terms of size and amenities, but also in terms of cost.
Yeah.
If you look at a $500,000 home, you're looking at an income needed of about $145,000 a year to be able to afford that home. I don't know how many jobs in your city are paying $145,000. I'm tenured full professor at Fresno State. I don't make $145,000 a year from that job. So is the match between the housing that's offered, both in terms of its design, but also in terms of affordability. And you're right. I'm curious now. My next semester class will probably look at your general plan. When I don't know when that's scheduled to be updated, but those are things that you all control as the city, and the planning commission makes recommendations, but the city council is the one that decides the final approval or not on those things. So it was very good and it relates to so many of the things that we talked about in our class this semester. So thank you for the opportunity.
Professor, can I give your students some extra credit? Right.
I actually am going to give them extra credit. And
Well,
because
this would be free. No tuition involved.
got an advocate right there, so you just.
But keep in mind that we were making fun up here about approving the approval. Okay. So there's a lot of stuff that we think we're in control of that we're not. It's those yardbirds up in Sacramento that make things difficult and that add the cost to housing. Okay.
Yeah.
Now there's a gentleman here from Lennar and they had a great slogan. Everything's included. Man, everything is included. Most of that stuff is the state tells you to put it in there and they got to put it in there and it adds to the cost. Okay. So when you're doing that study and you're looking at things, take a look at those kinds of things that increase the price of housing in California versus other states that are neighbors to us. You know, so.
One of the things we'll be talking about too is like that traffic signal. Like I'm wondering about, were there any mitigation fees paid by the developer to supplement or offset some of the requirements of the city to build that kind of infrastructure so their development can happen?
But it doesn't expedite the fact that it gets done any quicker. You know, that's the other thing. And we've had some serious accidents in that.
Exactly.
In that area.
Yeah.
Speed of
heard.
government.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I too want to commend the residents for coming out and speaking your minds. I think it's very important for that to happen on a regular basis. So I want to commend that. That's one of the things I'm trying to teach to my students. And so thank you for being a good role model for them this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Hope you all learned something this
I thought you were
evening.
Christmas carolers. I thought maybe it made sense.
With that, we'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting.